The Gay Gatsby by Wyatt Salus. Out of the many characters in The Great Gatsby, there was no one that I loved more than Gatsby himself. Gatsby was the one who turned out all right in the end, and there were some events between him and I that I would like to share with you. You see, during the Great War, we had a bit of a fling. I know it may seem strange, because I previously made it seem as if Gatsby was in love with Daisy. That is only partially true. Just wait. You will understand. Of course, some parts were true, such as the part when I went to lunch with Gatsby and met Wolfsheim. Then, of course, there was when we set up the meeting of Gatsby and Daisy. He did believe he loved Daisy, and that he and I was merely a phase. But when he looked at me as we were waiting for Daisy to arrive, I knew that there was still something there. That was when he kissed me for the first time after the war. Of course, then Daisy arrived, and Gatsby ran outside, most likely because he was embarrassed. When he came back inside, he did seem a bit angry. Perhaps it was because he thought Daisy could come between us. Then he entered my house, looking so tragic and wet. My heart began beating faster. Old feelings were awakening once again. Things between the three of us in that living room were a bit awkward for a minute, and then Gatsby and I went off to talk. "I can't pretend I'm in love with her, can I?" Gatsby asked. "Well, we can't just tell her to leave. I think you should just play along, at least for a little while. Now let's go back in. Daisy's all alone." Gatsby's performance was very good, asking us to his house, showing off the things he collected for Daisy, showing us his shirts, his music. I left them there together, just to keep Daisy oblivious to Gatsby and I. About this time the reporter came. I can't recall his name. He asked me to tell him about Gatsby, which I did, I fear, with too much passion. Later that month, when Gatsby and I were spending time together at his house, Tom and the Sloanes paid us a visit. That evening does not have much to do with this story, so I will just leave it out. That evening, Daisy and Tom decided to come to Gatsby's party, where Gatsby shirked me to be with Daisy, and I was forced to be with Tom. I did stay late, planning on calling Gatsby out on his gallivanting, but when I tried to speak, I just became lost in his eyes. I soon found myself in his arms, falling asleep in one of his chairs. After that, Gatsby stopped throwing his parties to spend time with me or with Daisy, his cover-up. We decided he needed to fire his servants. We wouldn't want anyone to gossip about either of his secret relationships. Then we went to Tom's house. When I saw Daisy kiss my dear Gatsby, I felt myself grow green with envy. The way that she was always flirting with him made things very awkward. After lunch, we drove out to the hotel, of course with Daisy and Gatsby in Tom's car again, causing more jealousy. When we were at the hotel, Gatsby caused a horrible scene, but it was the cost to keep our relationship a secret. He made Daisy tell Tom she never loved him, and then, when he was on his way home with Daisy, they hit Myrtle, Tom's mistress. Things went downhill from there. Gatsby felt so guilty that we were spending less and less time together, and then he was murdered by Myrtle's husband. My poor Gatsby, killed for a crime he did not commit. My dear Gatsby, whose father gave me his childhood journal as a keepsake. My dear Gatsby, laid into the ground, gone forever. The one man who could be rich, but had a heart to love, who had a heart to love me. My Gay Gatsby.